Our Houston Texans are in the playoffs for the 5th time in 8 years, and a lot of the fan base is scared. Not even scared. Terrified. Terrified is a word I see being thrown around everywhere. They're terrified that we're playing the Colts. They're terrified that we have to go up to New England if we beat the Colts. They're terrified that if for whatever miraculous reason we beat New England, if we go and play KC, they're terrified of every single team. It feels like Texans fans are, just straight up scared. A good chunk of the fan base, at least, majority of them. And I mean, look, I guess I get it. I guess I get where they're coming from. Obviously, this team, this franchise, in the past hasn't had success in the postseason, constantly getting bounced out in embarrassing fashions. I mean, obviously, I said it in my last video, my recap video from yesterday. You had the first New England game in, 2012, where they just got blown out when Matt Schaub was the quarterback. They had the shutout against KC. We don't talk about that one, remember. We had the other New England blowout game in 2016 with Osweiler. Like, it's understandable where these fans are coming from. And then also, they tend to bring up our atrocious offensive line and corner situations. So I guess I can kind of see how they're scared, why they're scared. But honestly, again, and I've said it in multiple videos, this Texans team isn't going to be an easy out. I'm not going to say they're going to the Super Bowl, because I will never ever sit here and tell you guys a lie and, just lie to y'all's faces, I guess, and tell y'all we're going to the Super Bowl, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing that, or, I try to be as realistic as possible. But what I can tell you is, this Texans team, if they don't go all the way, which honestly I don't think they will, but when they go down, they're going to go out swinging. They're not going to just, bend over and let whoever they're playing, go to town on them. It's not going to be like that anymore. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the stat being thrown around all over the internet. The little Deshaun Watson hasn't lost a game by more than one possession since, I want to say, sophomore year in high school. So that's pretty crazy. So these Texans, wherever they lose, whether it be against Indianapolis this upcoming Saturday, whether it's against the Patriots the following week, whether it's against, I don't know, whoever they play in the conference championship game, or even in the Super Bowl, whoever it's against, this Texans team is not going to get embarrassed. They're going to, go down swinging. They're going to put up a fight, whoever they play, whenever they play, wherever they play. And the AFC is wide open, guys. Anything can literally happen. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you a Super Bowl. I'm not. But this Texans team, they have as good a chance as anyone else in the AFC to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. Everybody talks about, oh my God, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Oh my God, the Indianapolis Colts are red hot. Oh my God, Lamar Jackson has completely changed the Ravens, and the Ravens are the best team since, I don't know. Everybody talks about all these other teams, but they seem to not talk about the Texans. And, I mean, I guess rightfully so, because what have we done ever, People aren't going to talk about the Texans until the Texans go out there and do something. Now, again, people keep bringing up, oh man, we're not going anywhere with this offensive line. We're not going anywhere with these corners. To those people, take a look around the league. Or, just the AFC, NFC, we're not going to worry about that yet. But just take a look around in the AFC. All 6 of the playoff teams, starting with us. Obviously, we have a young quarterback at the helm, Deshaun Watson. He's not a veteran, so he will make mistakes. He does happen to make mistakes sometimes. He's not an elite quarterback yet. We have our terrible O-line with the inconsistent run game with the terrible corners. Obviously, that's our issues. Those are our issues. Then you take a look at the Ravens. Well, their defense is good. Their run game is great. But guess what? If you stop their run game, do you really trust Lamar Jackson to get the job done through the air? He's made some beautiful throws, don't get me wrong. But can you trust Lamar Jackson to win the game with his arm? Throw the ball 35 plus times, 40 times. Do you trust him? Because personally, I do not. I don't think Lamar Jackson can win a game with his arm. And guess what? The Texans have one of the best run defenses in the league. You could talk whatever you want about the Texans secondary, but one thing you cannot take away from them is the fact that the Texans defense, when it comes to stopping the run, they're arguably the best team in the league when it comes to that. So the Texans happen to play the Ravens at whatever point in the postseason. I 100% believe the Texans would be able to defeat the Ravens because I don't think Lamar Jackson can win the game with his arm. And then, you take a look at a team like the Patriots. Tom Brady, everybody respects him. One of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. But you take a look at his roster. His O-line is not that good. Gronkowski is not the Gronk he was before. He's a little bit washed up. His receivers aren't that great. You have, of course, their defense, which is probably the worst it's been in years. So what's their weakness? Their O-line and their terrible defense. Their defense is terrible. But of course, they can make up for it with, good coaching and all that. It always happens. But again, the Patriots have weaknesses. And then you take a look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs, their whole defense is a mess. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. The only good thing they have going for them is the pass rush. D Ford, Justin Houston, Chris Jones. Other than that, you can run the ball right down their throat, right down the middle. In fact, I think KC is not going to win a single playoff game. Whether they play the Chargers, whether they play the Colts, or the Ravens, I don't think they'll win a playoff game. I don't care how good Patrick Mahomes has been in the regular season, because when it comes down to it, in prime time, in important games, Patrick Mahomes, he lost them all. I don't think Mahomes has what it takes to get the job done in the postseason. And we already know Andy Reid, for whatever reason, just struggles in the playoffs. So, again, they have a coaching issue in the playoffs. They have a straight-up defense issue. KC, they have weaknesses. Then you go to the Colts. What are their weaknesses? Well, obviously, we already know they have Andrew Luck. They have that good O-line now. But what are their weaknesses? Well, besides T.Y. and Ebron, who do they got? Everybody else, they're really not all that great. And Ebron is really more of a red zone threat rather than just an all-around threat as a tight end. I believe the Texans are like the only team that struggles versus tight ends. I'm pretty sure everyone else could shut down Ebron. Their defense, well, they don't really have that much talent. It's really all up front. Their secondary is not good. If whoever's throwing the ball has enough time, they can shred that Colts defense with ease. So they have secondary issues and a little bit of talent issues because this team, their team, the Colts, isn't really all that talented, but they're getting carried by good coaching. Andrew Luck, of course, T.Y. Hilton, and Eric Ebron. They have issues. The Chargers, well, Chargers are probably the best rounded team in the AFC. Their only weakness I could really point out is their linebackers. So in the run game, if you can get past that first level, past their D-line, you should be able to get some good chunk plays in the run game. And then, you could target their linebackers to the pass game by targeting tight ends, running backs. So there you have it. Every single team in the AFC has weaknesses. And then for the Chargers, you also got to consider, what has Phillip Rivers ever done? I want Phillip Rivers to win a Super Bowl. I like Phillip Rivers. But what has he ever done in the playoffs, you know? Nothing. Nothing. So to everyone that's terrified of all these teams, terrified of getting embarrassed, don't be. Don't be, because the Texans, they have a chance. They have as good a chance as the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Colts, and any other team in the AFC. The AFC is wide open. The Texans have a shot. I'm not saying they're going all the way again, but they're definitely not an easy out how they've been in the past. That's just really all I want to talk about today, because I've been seeing a lot of people talking about being scared, being terrified, that we're one and done, we're going to get embarrassed, we're going to get blown out, we're going to, do this, do that, do this, do that, all this other stuff. Just, support your team, root for the Texans, because for the first time ever in franchise history, I think we finally have a legitimate shot at a title. Not saying we're going to get it, but again, in these playoffs, legitimately, in these playoffs in particular, anything can happen. The AFC's wide open. It's there for the taking. So, maybe the Texans can take it. I don't know. As long as number 4 is under center, anything can happen. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.